After months of speculation that reached fever pitch in recent days, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge have announced the name of their newborn son and future King of England. Nine Europe correspondent Peter Stefanovic is outside Buckingham Palace, and reporter Amelia Ballinger joins us from the Middletons' hometown of Bucklebury. First to you, Pete. The Prince's name is certainly a nod to tradition and those who have ruled before him.
That is correct, Georgie. You know, we've been speculating for days now, and it was only really a short time ago that Kensington Palace has confirmed that the Prince will be His Royal Highness Prince George Alexander Louis. Now, which is interesting because it sort of breaks with tradition here, because a lot of people had been speculating that there would be four names, but in the end there is just three, and several nods to history. I mean, first of all, you've got George, which the Queen's father, King George VI, the Queen's grandfather, King George V, going under the second name Alexander. The Queen's middle name is Alexandra, and Louis may be a nod to Prince Charles's favourite uncle when he was growing up. A close family friend of the House of Windsor was Lord Louis Mountbatten, who was killed by the IRA in Ireland in 1979. Now, Kensington Palace has not confirmed exactly why these names have been chosen, but as we've been talking about, there are several obvious nods to a bit of history there. So as I mentioned there, three names as opposed to four, and you know, over the past 9 months or so, we're hearing today that the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge had several names for whether it was going to be a boy or whether it was going to be a girl. Their friends were constantly texting them with suggestions of what their names should be, but in the end, these are the three names that meant most to them. And just a sidebar to all of that too, the fact that he is Prince George, it doesn't necessarily mean that one day he will be King George if he accedes to the throne, because once, or if he becomes king, he might choose another name. Indeed he might.
Pete, meanwhile, the visitors are streaming in, and amongst them a very important family member.
Yes, the best for last. You know, the Queen stopped by Kensington Palace this morning. Everybody here has been talking about the fact that this must have been the final okay for these names. So the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge would have spoken to the Queen about the names, and she would have given them her blessing, I suppose. So she stopped there for around about an hour at Kensington Palace before she left. We're hearing too that Prince Harry was at Kensington Palace last night. We had heard rumours that he was there, but that hadn't been confirmed. Pippa Middleton has been at Kensington Palace last night as well, but earlier today they only spent one night at Kensington Palace, the Cambridge family, before they all drove off. Earlier today they've gone down to Bucklebury in Berkshire, which is the Duchess of Cambridge's hometown. They'll be staying at her mum and dad's place for the foreseeable future, Georgie.
All right, Pete, thank you very much for that. So let's now cross to our reporter Amelia Ballinger, who's in Bucklebury. And Amelia, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, as Pete just pointed out, they've been very quick to get the little prince out of the spotlight.
Yeah, Georgie, they did not waste any time at all. We had expected Kate and the baby to arrive here in a couple of weeks or so, but the family has arrived a lot sooner than anticipated. It was shortly after the Queen met her great-grandson for the first time that the couple left Kensington Palace. They were driven out by security. Prince William sat in the front seat of the car and Kate in the back seat with her newborn son, waving and smiling to the crowds who had gathered to see them off. There was a few hints a little earlier in the day that the couple might be heading here to Bucklebury, a really heightened police presence near the Middletons' home here, and we're not sure whether or not there are other family members at the house with Kate and William and Prince George, but we understand it's quite a vast estate, so no doubt they're very comfortable there tonight, enjoying that time as a new family.
And locals there in Bucklebury must be fairly excited. Just describe the feeling among residents.
Look, everybody here is very excited, Georgie. This is, of course, where the Duchess grew up. So most people in this community know Kate, they know her family, and there have been lots of celebrations here. This pub behind me, you can probably see, has a big sign out the front congratulating the royal couple on the birth of their son, bunting everywhere. And there was a big party here last night. Kate very famously invited the postman, the butcher, the local publican to her wedding back then. She wanted to share that special day with the community, and she's now looking to share this special time of her life as a new mum with the locals here as well. Take a listen to what one local had to say about the birth of the new prince.
We all regard him as local. Certainly Kate's local, she's part of the village, and we're hoping he'll be part of the village.
And Georgie, I did speak to one of the local publicans here the other day. He said he expected Kate and William to bring the new baby down and introduce him to all of the locals. So no doubt there will be more celebrations when that happens. And especially now that we have a name, I think excitement levels have really risen.
All right. Amelia Ballinger and Bucklebury, thank you very much.